You've got to see what the invisible paint is. The invisible medium that the artist used to create his work of art. There we have got a sculpture by Pablo Picasso of Marie-Therese Walther, his great love of the 1930s. I want to ask you now this question. I want to pose the question to the women in the audience. Imagine your significant other telling you that he has got a couple of odd million to spend, and he's going to spend that on a sculpture by a famous artist. You've got to go in for the sittings, and then after a while he comes back. He presents you with something similar to that. He says, "My deeply beloved, here is a representation, a portrait of you, made by this famous artist. I feel he has captured the essence of our relationship." How would you ladies react to that?
Please explain yourself.
Please explain yourself. I notice skepticism, if not rank cynicism, of the women here. I find this one of the most fascinating works of art that I've ever been confronted with, because in understanding what happens here, you really understand the shift that came between the epoch of conventional art and contemporary art. What on earth do you think went through Picasso's mind to do that kind of a sculpture of the love of his life? I want you now to imagine, and if you can imagine this, you will cross the chasm between conventional art and contemporary art. I want you to imagine how in conventional art an artist would have made a portrait of a woman. You come and sit over here. Come and sit over here. And this will be our model for the day. You are sit over there. Okay, there you are. Great stuff. Here is your easel or your table on which you are now going to create this immortal work of art of that woman. Okay. Now describe to me, what is the sentence, the single sentence that you would use most to, with regard to the model? Sit still. Sit still. No. Just turn your head a little bit more to the right. No. You were looking, remember you were looking at that spot, not at that, because you want to give a three-dimensional picture of her when you make a sculpture, a three-dimensional image, or the illusion of a three-dimensional image when you're painting or drawing. Am I right? Now you must imagine something totally different. You are still the artist, but you are deeply infatuated with her. You are deeply infatuated on all levels of a relationship. It's pure lust, it's romance, it's love, it's emotions, it's absolutely everything. You are totally, absolutely infatuated with her. Besotted is the word. Okay. Now it's interesting. If that is the case, who has got trouble sitting still? You want to get up. You want to embrace. You want to make love. Now, in understanding these two approaches, you are now crossing the chasm between conventional art and contemporary art. Because what Picasso tried to do with that sculpture was not creating an image, a three-dimensional image of her. This is a representation of the relationship I have with you. And if you now look again at the sculpture, you can see that what Picasso sculpted was not the figure and the head of the woman, but the artist's actions. The artist who is incapable of sitting still just yards away from the woman with whom he's totally infatuated. So what he's actually showing us is the artist coming close to the object of his desire instead of staying cool and aloof at a distance of the woman. And by that he is actually paying the woman a much bigger compliment than with a conventional three-dimensional representation. Because if he had done that, the message of the work of art would have been, no matter how much I love you, no matter how much I've got this desire to consummate my love, I've still got the self-control. You haven't got total control over me. I still have the self-control to sit for an extended period of time, only yards across from you, without moving and without attempting to make love to you. Now, is that a message you want from your love? I think not.